Okay, I will show you. I have to select that. Not I will
It's there. Change the shape. Ini foto ini aku lihat itu kan nanti tahu tak ini kaki sih biar yang ibar lagi boleh gambar dia kalau ini bisa mampu dari kita.
Yeah, what is it you want?
So, system.
Is like stressful. Yeah, I don't have lost.
ini open itu. Yang way result.
So we have to compare it with computation, right? So as the result, the requirement of the computer, we need to install that application. They will install the Right, good afternoon. Social security contribution levy today we discuss. The examination conduct the weightage is 10 marks. There could be a 10 mark question regarding this particular part. So to approach this, the subject area, in 2009, Sri Lanka has introduced a tax which called Nation Development Levy. Right? They are not meant as nation building tax. So the difference between the tax and levy is levy for a particular purpose and for a shorter period of time. Once this objective is achieved, then generally levies they are taking out. Example, national security levy, defense levy, environmental levy. Likewise, there are so many levies introduced previously. Intention is with the objective to achieve some sort of objective. Once they achieve, they are taking out that tax. So you can say that income tax is coming from say 2017, 18, likewise, so many years. But in the 2009, the year 2009, with the the settlement of Northeast complete, the government wants to raise money to develop that area. Therefore, they have introduced that levy called nation building levy. Thereafter, meant as nation building tax. Right? So 2009 till 2019 it was made. Initially, they want to implement that and levy, but it came as an tax. 2019 they have abolished this tax. So that tax, that NBT is based on the revenue, some percentage. To frank, it's on the revenue 2% tax as the contribution, right? Based on the turnover, there was a threshold. If somebody is exceeding that threshold, turnover threshold, they are liable for that tax. Otherwise, not. Right? You can see. So, if any tax on revenue, you know that income tax it is based on profit. But if there anything with tax on revenue, that collection is a lot of money to the government, big money, right? And this type of tax has another inherited issue or problem that has we call cascading impact. Cascading impact means if somebody is charging that tax and it has been passed to another person, that person also charges the same tax based on the including that particular tax. So therefore, tax on tax impact is coming. Right? Example, say if I am selling this goods, say tax rate is 2%. Say I am selling at 102. I include that tax part and I am selling to that particular person. So person who purchased that thing, his cost is 102. Thereafter, when he is selling again, he is charging another 2. So end of the day, this amount on that tax. So that is the weak, the system, tax system. So unfortunately, that tax bring a lot of revenue to the government. They are very interesting on implementation this type of tax. So however, in 2019, there is a big change to the structure. They have removed that nation building tax. Thereafter, you know what happened in Sri Lanka with the post-COVID impact and the economic crisis and everything. So we are in a problem of having reserve. So therefore, in 2022 again, this then another tax introduced that because NBT has been abolished, they introduced another tax. It went as social security contribution rate. social security contribution, SSCL. Right? So this is all if I compare this tax with the nation building tax, very identical tax, right? The percentage they have increased to 2 to 2.5%. SSCL is on the turnover, but rate is 2.5%. Previously, it has the liable threshold for the NBT, but SSCL has the registration threshold. In tax, there is a two difference. Threshold means some sort of on the level. Somebody is exceeding that particular turnover level, they are liable. Right? You know that in say just like say turnover, say partly if the liable turnover is more than 15 million, they are liable for tax. Otherwise not. That is we call liable threshold. But compared to the liable threshold, registration threshold is that is only applicable for till they get the registration. Thereafter, no, that threshold is applicable. Now, what we have like registration threshold, and also SSCL we have registration threshold. Registration threshold right now is 50 million per quarter, or annually 60 million. Turnover exceeding that particular person need to register for this registration. Thereafter, even though their turnover amount is less than that, but I have mentioned, even that liability is there. Once they obtain the registration, thereafter, that level of the amount of turnover is not important. Even they are getting 1 rupee, they have to pay that. That's the difference between registration threshold and the liable threshold. So NBT has the liable threshold, but SSCL has only registration threshold. Right? NBT has the liable threshold. Say if somebody is exceeding this particular turnover, they are liable for a particular period. If they don't have, they are not liable. But SSCL introduced with a registration threshold. Once they reach that threshold, they have to register. It's mandatory to register. Once they have registered, within 12 months, they can cancel the registration. So once somebody is registered for SSCL, at least for a 12-month period, they have to continue the registration. Thereafter, they can apply for cancel. Clear? That is the difference between registration threshold and liable threshold. But in this tax levy, we have registration threshold. Right? Review. In the examination context, that type of question can be asked: what is the registration threshold for SSCL? If somebody registered for this thing, can they cancel? Apply for cancel. That type of question will be tested. Right? Right. So who is liable? This charging section, you remember in the income tax also I mentioned that the charging section says who is liable on what for a period, a particular period. Likewise, SSCL is mentioned that the charging section 2 says who is liable. Says import of any article. Import any article. Somebody importing any article Sri Lanka, irrespective of threshold, they are chargeable for SSC. Right? It's just like tariff. 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 අවද ඒකට අපිට කියන්නේ ඉතින් මම අපිට කන එක මට දිනවා මේ ස්පීච් එකක් ගන්න ටයිප් එක ගන්න මේ ලබනවා ඊට ගන්න අපිට කනද මට ඔක බලලා කියලා දියන්න පුළුවන් ඒක කියන්නේ so what is mean by tariff? Come get tariff, Lanka tariff man. Tariff means the taxes imposed on the importation, cross-border transaction. Can I be tariff? Like a DOT වෙන්න So tariff ಜಾති දෙකක් වෙනවා ලංකාවේ ලෝකේ. assignment එක ගියයි. Okay, තියෙනවා tariff එකක් අපි කියන tariff, other is called para tariff. Para tariff is the tariff is as per the international law, World Trade Organization. Right? On the importation, there are, I mean, somebody can impose tax, but they are prescribed, just like the import duties. Sri Lanka also we have import duties. India also we have duties. Likewise, every country have import duties. USA also have import duties. Right? Apart from that, that is universal. For the worldwide, that is applicable. Custom duties. Right? And some countries introduce some taxes to control some type of transaction. So the law says, the practice is that international trade should be, there can't be any barriers for the international trade, free trade. World Trade Organization is promoting free trade between countries. You know that you learn that what is this economy, what is this country with the resources, right? So that's called a free trade. एक hypothetical market tag but in reality it is not the case, right? So para tariff introduced with some purpose, with the objective of that particular country. Just like in Sri Lanka, we have port and airport levy. It is not there in some other country. But some charges, special duties, you know that. वाहन import कराना tax का 500% tax base. So the वाहन का value करेगा tax. CI value करेगा tax value. So that is para. That control the imports as well as protect the foreign resources. You know, they have put that luxury. Likewise, those are called, we call para tariff. That Trump them with them para tariff. Then USA order go duty. We import. Somebody is importing that thing, they have duty. That is to everybody. Lanka, India, China, that duty is based on the import value, say what value or the quantity, that type of thing. That make a parametric like in USA, why? It depends on the country. Different rate to country. Sri Lanka 20%, Singapore 10%, India 25%, and they because of they have import fuel from Russia, it has increased to 50%. Right? Vietnam 90 or the 15%, Philippines now the Indonesia 15%. Likewise, different rate to different countries. Some objective. That's called para. So that SSCL is charge that type of tax in case of the importation. Imports that 2.5%. Director General Custom collecting at the point of view. Just like import duty, it is included. Right, tax base tax base the same base what we are using for the value added tax. Right? So that the first person who is liable for this tax is imports. Any person who imports whatever item is liable for SSCL, but the importation is not subject to, but the motor vehicle importation is not subject to SSCL because there was an exemption still there. Carries on the business of manufacturing of any article. Any person who carries on the business of manufacturing of article. Remember, it's a business of manufacturing of article. So they are liable on that term. Carries on the business of providing services of any description. Provision of service. But put it in this way, importer is liable, then manufacturer is liable, third person is service provider is also liable for this tax. Right? Carries on the business of wholesale or retail sales. Wholesale or retail sales. Right? Wholesale or retail. Including importation and sale. Such article. Now the importer will be liable at the 2 points. In case of the imports of article at the point of custom, they are liable for this tax. As well as if we selling, reselling in market, again they are liable. The same person on the same transaction at 2 points they are liable. At the point of importation also liable, and it says including sale of import and sale of such article, he is liable as a wholesale and retailer. Right? It is also considered as wholesale or retail. Other than a sale by manufacturing of that article being a manufacturer. So the manufacturer anyway liable, therefore manufacturing and selling is there is no 2 point. But import and local sales it has considered as two activities. So both activities are liable for that. SSB. Now if I summarize that who is liable for this tax, importer, manufacturer, service provider, wholesale and retailer, including import and local. Wholesale and retail කියන එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So local buying and selling asset. Local buying and selling. So import and local. මේ දෙක තමයි එතන යාදා. Manufacturer and selling is coming under the manufacturer. Right? Right. Same manufacturer. Charge from every taxable person. It says taxable person මේ වචන ඔක්කොම මෙතන තැනකින් copy කරපේවා. Copy කරලා දෙනවා කියන්නේ මේ. Value added tax act එකකින් copy කරපුවා මම කියන්නේ SSCL act එක හදලා තියෙන අනිත් තැන් වලින් copy කරලා. VAT tax එකකින් part එකක් copy කරලා income tax එක. ඒතකොට ඒ act එක හරි පොඩි. 2 act එක. Right? Charge from every taxable person for every quarter. Says quarter. Taxable quarter of the liable turnover. There may be then exempt turnover asset. The liable turnover at the rate of 2.5%. Rate is 2.5. Right. So then what is mean by turnover for this purpose? In case of imported turnover, importer turnover cost cost of purchase, cost of import. But for the tax purpose, this purpose, turnover means it says the value of the article ascertained for the purpose of the value added tax act. මම ඉගෙන ගියේ ඒ ඇක්ට් එකෙන් මේ කොපි කරලා දාලා. VAT charge කරන්නේ මොකක්ද? ඒක තමයි SSC වලට turnover එක විදිහට කන්සිඩර් කරන්නේ for imports. Right? So how they are going to charge VAT? That is the tax base for SSC law. කොහොමද VAT charge කරන්නේ import වලට?
It's plus like they do depend
Sorry?
DNA plus other
All the import duty, import taxes. Yeah, if I go in that CIF value, CIF plus all the import duties, the tariff figure is good. It goes in this way. Value added tax on a base and CIF plus custom duty, custom import duty, plus special duty, plus PAL, plus cess. Like that, there are so many import duties. All these duties we have to add. And apart from that, we are adding another thing. We call 10% of the CIF. CIF 10% උත් අපි ආයෙ add කරනවා. Add කරලා යන එක තමයි we call tax base. මේකට තමයි අපි වැඩ කරන්නේ. Recharge at a right? When the maker of an operator is the charge. VAT ගන්න VAT එක නැතුව. Taxpayer, recall taxpayer. So same taxpayer we are using for the SSCL asset. In generally, this is computerized formula. So once you put your cost date to the system itself select that. I mean, you know that in case of the importation, you have a code we call HS code. Based on the HS code, that tariff is given. So අපි HS code එක දාපු වෙනම cost එකකට so automatically tariff is work on. That SSCL also work. That's how it goes. Therefore, your purpose, your knowledge purpose, exam purpose, එක test කරන්න බෑ මට. ගානක් දෙන්න බෑ වැඩ. Because it depends on the HS code. So එක එක code එකෙන් code එක duty එක වෙනස් වෙනවා. PAL එක වෙනස් වෙනවා. So just like the aluminium items, different sales, but it's a building item, different thing. Depend on the HS code. My example like yana ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නා ඇති අර yogurt දන්නවද? නෑ. yogurt කියන කප් එකක දාලා. So ඒ yogurt හදනකොට yogurt වල දානවා jelly. jelly yogurt එක. yogurt හදන්නේ කිරි වලින්. එතකොට ඒක මිදෙන්න දානවා අපි කියන මුහුන් කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒකට අපි කියන කල්චර්. ඒ කල්චර්ස් කියන ද yogurt කියන එක VAT liable. SSCL liable. If you do import. Right? So yogurt හදන්නේ කියන item එක liable වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක වැටෙන්නේ biological for the drugs, medical item. So ඒක liable වෙන්නේ. So medical item drugs pharmaceutical we call that is exempt from VAT and SSCL. ඒක exempt. හැබැයි yogurt එකක විතර ගෙනාවද ඒක liable. So based on that, as I mentioned that HS code it is getting the different study. Therefore in the examination context we will not invest that one, but remember this is the formula CIF plus all the duties plus we had another 10% of CIF notional. 10% of CIF. Actually, it's a silver. And that's why the financial statement of import our value of the meter dado. Again, CIF can invoice value and duties. There is a document called assessment notice issued by the custom. So that is the total duty. So all those things they are in the cost deck. Cost deck එකෙන් බලනවාම ඒතන තියෙන value එක ඔයාගේ actual pay කරන ආනයි difference එකක් තියෙනවා. Reason is that we are adding 10% notionally for this computation. Right? මේක එන්නේ supplying invoice එක මේ pay කරනවා. මේක supplying invoice එක මේ taxes ටික අපි custom එකට ගෙවනවා. මේක අපි ගෙවන්නේ නැහැ. මේක custom එකේ include කරලා මෙන්න මේ tax එක හදන්න විතරයි. Clear? So manufacturer of article, in case of the manufacturer, the sum receivable whether received or not in the quarter of any article manufactured and sold in Sri Lanka by such person other than an exempted article. There are some exempted articles other than exempted article. Somebody is manufacturing and selling in Sri Lanka. Whether money received or not, so if you are recognizing turnover, on that turnover you have to pay that SSC. So indirectly it says SSCL is based on accrual basis. That should be paid on accrual basis. Turnover should be recognized on accrual basis. Right? So then importer, manufacturer. So other person providing any description article services In case of the service provision, it says the sum receivable whether received or not from the supply in Sri Lanka of any financial service. And the services, there are three categories. That is, first thing is financial service. By a person carrying on the business of supply any financial service activity in Sri Lanka. Second service category, they have recognized the value of any service arising from the business of real estate and improvement. Says real estate and improvement. That's the second part. Other thing, any other services say the sum receivable whether received or not. That is also on actual basis. Right? So that service part they have recognized as three. What is that? First thing is a financial service. Second thing is real estate. Third one is any other service. Right? So that is for the tax base for the SSA. Right? Turnover for the wholesale and retail. It says carries on the business of wholesale or retail sales of any article, some receivable whether received or not, from the wholesale or retail sales of any article in Sri Lanka. Right? Amount from any accepted article or services does not consider for the account for liable turnover. Right? So there are some turnover they are recognizing as exempt. So it shall not be account for any work out there. Liable turnover. And if any exempt turnover, we have to remove. So what is turnover? Liable turnover. In case of importation, 100% of the value as per this formula. That is the tax base. But in case of manufacturer, 85% of the liable turnover, 85% of the liable turnover we consider as relevant turnover for this tax. That is for the manufacturer. Right? So in case of the financial services, supply financial services, so value addition attributed to the financial services, that is also again as per the VAT law. So land and improvement of the real estate sales, 100% of the turnover, sale value minus market value of the land to the date of sale. In case of the land and improvement, total sales proceed minus market value of the land on the date of sale. That is the turnover for SSE. Right? But in other case, 100% of the, in other services, 100%. Wholesale and retail, they have categorized two parts. One thing it says, sale of any article by a registered distributor. Registered distributor. It says, registered distributor in relation to any manufacturer or producer of any goods in Sri Lanka. In such case, 25% of the turnover we are considering as relevant turnover for this tax. Wholesale and retail, including import and local sales, we are considering 50% of the turnover as relevant turnover. From liable turnover, we are considering 50% is the relevant turnover for this tax. Right? Business of service providing.
Yeah.
Right? So it says SSCN, in case of the importation, total import value considered as liable turnover on that 2.5%. 100% we are considering. Right? In case of the business of manufacturing and selling, liable turnover on that 85% we are considering at 2.5% tax. Business of service providing, business of supply of financial services, value addition of financial services on that 2.5%. Real estate business, sales minus market value of the land at the date of sale at 2.5%. Any other service provision, total turnover on that 2.5%. Right? Business of wholesale and retail, import and local sales or local buying and selling, 50% of the turnover on that 2.5%. Registered distributor, total turnover you can 55 කරන්න. ඒකට දෙකක් සම්පා. turnover making 50. What the turnover making 85% turnover become. But it says liable turnover के तमाम यार हमारे exempt plan. So then total turnover from their exempt turnover we have to remove. Then liable turnover के relevant turnover के तमाम यार क्या? ये क्या है ना? Oh, turnover के turnover that example इधर manufacturing and selling. क्या कहते हैं? Liable turnover करना है कि 85% करना है कि 2.5% down. Buy mentally basis देगा और important local sale, local buy mentally, total turnover के 50 करना है कि 2.5. Where 2.5? I put in that. Ente gua pun 2.5. Siapa ente? Baik ini negara 2.5. Ini kan meta ada yang ini kan mereka nungguin tanah pun ada tamar ke mungkin pula 1.25 sama kayaknya ini nah ini mereka nih. Cash flow ini kan 2.5 bahkan ini dia namanya apa? Kalau basic kita ya. Basic apa?
Can you get it? In your finance.
Nah, valuation क्या है? Valuation क्या है? Valuation ने कहा था कि नहीं. Bank and financial institution not have value on it. They will be. Right? So that's the summary of the discussion. If somebody could be liable, so say, if I am doing a manufacturing and selling, business of manufacturing and selling, on my liable turnover, I am getting 85% on that 2.5. Say I can do manufacturing and selling as well as local buying and selling. If I do two activities, say business of buying and selling separate. Communal versus retail. Local buying and selling on that 50%, on that 2.5. Separately, I can work as a registered distributor. The local manufacturer appointing as a distributor to sell their his goods in local market. So then total turnover, liable turnover on that 25% is the relevant turnover for SSC. Right? So in case of the real estate, total sale price minus value of the land, market value of the land at the rate of sale. So on balance 2.5%. In case of the business of financial services, then way to work out the value addition. On that value addition, 2.5. That's how it works out. Right? When we work out the turnover, if there is bad debt, we can remove. So turnover is specified above for the relevant part of any taxable person shall not include bad debt. Value addition, bad tax. And the VAT tax, if they are charging VAT, that is also not part of turnover. So VAT anyway not part of turnover. Because law says any amount received or receivable. The receivable come including VAT. Therefore, VAT amount we can do. That is not anyway part of our turnover. And export rebate, that is also right now in Sri Lanka we don't have. Earlier we had export rebate. Registration. Every taxable person, other than a person who imports any article, who carries on carries out any taxable activity shall be required to be registered for any period commencing on or after 1/1/2024, not later than 15 days from the date on which the aggregate of turnover for a quarter exceed or likely to exceed 50 million rupees. Quarterly turnover exceeding 50 million rupees, he has to register. From the date of which the aggregate of the turnover for a period constituting to 4 quarters exceeding or likely to exceed 60 million rupees. So in a particular quarter is exceeding, liable turnover is exceeding 60 million, he has to register. It is mandatory or consecutive 4 quarters. That is means 12-month period. The turnover is exceeding 60 million, he also has to register for SSD. Right? It is mandatory as per the law. Or in case of the Commissioner General view that this person shall be, his opinion is to that person need to be registered, he has to register. He can register. Commissioner General, that means post registration also possible. Upon the receipt of an application by any person or where an application has not been received, the Commissioner General of opinion register such person with effect from the such date as he may be determined. Cancellation of registration. Any registered person may make an application in the specified form to the Commissioner General to have his registration cancelled at any time after the lapse of a period of 12 months following the date of the registration. It doesn't say that you cannot cancel, it says you can cancel, but application shall be submitted after the 12 months from the date of the registration. That means once you register within 12 months, you cannot submit an application for the cancellation. That's what I mentioned. Once you register, at least for a period of 1 year, you have to pay HST. The bad thing is, say first quarter, your threshold is 75 million. Now you have to register. Thereafter, subsequent quarter, your threshold is less than, your liable turnover is less than, say 10 million, likewise. Even the threshold is less than your registration threshold, you have to pay tax until for a period of 12 months. Thereafter, you can apply for a cancellation of the registration. Until such application for the cancellation is not entertained by the Commissioner. Right? A registered person has ceased to carry on or carry out taxable activity. The aggregate turnover of such registered person during such immediate proceeding 4 quarters of relevant quarter does not exceed 60 million. Where the Commissioner General cancels the registration of the person, he has informed such person. The Commissioner General may refuse to cancel the registration of any person. That is just like they are making a review whether that turnover is less than registration level 60 million per quarter. Sorry, per annum 50 million per quarter. Or it need to be supported that if somebody sees their business has been winding up, or see cancellation certificate, registration certificate, that type of thing will be submitted with the bank statement to prove that threshold is, let's not make that the liable amount, right? Right, registered taxable person not notify certain changes. Every registered person shall notify the Commissioner General in writing or by electronic means of any change of the name, address, or place of at which any taxable activity is carried on or carried out by such person, of the nature of the taxable activity carried on or carried out by such person, so any change of business profile, activities, contact details, authorized person, that type of thing need to be informed to the commercial agent. And with such change. That is one little. Return and information to be furnished. Right? Every registered person shall furnish to the Commercial General a return either in writing or by electronic means for every quarter or no before the 20th day of the month after the end of the 11th quarter. Right? After the end of the 11th quarter, within 20 days, return shall be submitted. So it says return shall be submitted 20th day of the month after the 11th quarter. Right? That is the return. So then SSCL on return, SSCL return on quarterly basis. But payment, payment. The levy payable for the first month of the quarter, no before the 20th day of the second month of the same quarter. So how that SSCL should be paid on monthly basis. So for a particular quarter, there are 3 months. The first one liability need to be discharged, before the 20th day of the second month of the same quarter. Second month liability shall be discharged, before the 20th of the third month of the same quarter. Right? The third month liability shall be paid, before the 20th day of the month after the end of that particular quarter. Right? That is the way SSCL should be discharged. The payment should be made on 20th. So anyway, you can see that payment goes on monthly basis. Right? And third month liability of the quarter and the date of the submission of the return both are the same day. And it says always, that is say always, or no before, or no before. And now somebody failed to pay that on that due date. That will go penalty. Right? So these things are exempt from SSCL. Any article exported by the manufacturer. If the manufacturer exporting, exports are exempt. Not liable. Exports are exempt from SSCL. Right? Any article not being plant, machinery or fixtures imported by any person exclusively for the use in or for the manufacturing of any article for export. So at the time of importation, this goes. So not being plant, machinery or fixtures exclusive for the use of the manufacturing of some article. So it directly says, if manufacturer import raw material for the manufacturing and export of items, that at the point of importation they are exempt. At the point of importation they are exempt. Right? So it says not being plant, machinery, fixtures means, but used in the production of or the manufacturing process means raw material. Any article sold by a taxable person to any exporter. So that means it says somebody is manufacturing and selling to the exporter. If the Commissioner General is satisfied of the production of any documentary evidence that such article or any other article manufactured of which such article is constitute part as it has been exported in Sri Lanka. So just like say, I could say this is indirect exports. The manufacturer manufacturing something and supplying to exporter, he is exporting. Or it is a part of a another product exported by a person, constitutes one. Then it is also exempt. But it shall be confirmed that particular article has been exported from Sri Lanka. Supplementary exempt needs to be submitted. Any article which is imported is provided to the satisfaction of the Commission General that article is imported to Sri Lanka for display and exhibition, temporary use for project, because it says at the point of importation it is liable. So say we are importing, say we are bringing some machinery to Sri Lanka for a project. After the completion of project, they are taking back that machinery. But for Sri Lanka tax purpose, it is considered as import. But if it is satisfied the ministry that yes, with the approval of ministry, we are bringing that machinery, they are taking off from Sri Lanka, so it is also exempt. Repair and that type of things, reshipment, producing any cinema, film or television in Sri Lanka, an exhibition of that cinema, that is also exempt. Fertilizer, petrol, other things are very specific things. Any article imported, if such article is subject to special commodity levy, that is also exempt. So there are another tax that is special commodity levy, is basically on essential goods, just like say sugar or the dal, whatever, that type of thing, essentially. But they are imposing some tax which is called special commodity levy. Any article subject to special commodity levy, it is not liable for SSCL as well. Okay. So what I am mentioning, petroleum and petroleum product, right? LP gas, pharmaceutical item. Solar panel, coal, rice manufactured out of local produce paddy, that is exempt. So that the manufacturer also exempt. So then this says carries on the business of wholesale and retail, that is also exempt, this type of thing. Pharmaceutical, even buying and selling of pharmaceutical, that is also exempt. The article which is subject to special commodity levy. At the point of importation also it is not liable for SSCL, and local selling also not liable for SSCL. Any article exported, that means local buying and export. Not manufacturing, but locally buying and exporting. Petrol, diesel or kerosene sold in filling station. LP gas, fresh milk, green leaf, cinnamon or rubber, that type of things. That is business of wholesale retail. First thing is import or manufacture. This is only import or manufacture. Right? Services. This type of services are exempt. Generation of electricity, medical services, supply of water, transport of goods and passengers, service provided to any exporter of any article, being services directly related to import, improving the quality and character of such articles. That means services provided to exporter. To in the process of the manufacturing, just like say manufacturer is doing manufacturing part, thereafter say good example is I could say the apparel industry garment. So one person is manufacturing, so it has been given for the washing. Another person is washing, doing that washing service. So that is exempt because the service provided to the exporter to improve the quality and character of the product. Right? That is also exempt. Service of sewing garments provided to any export of such article. Freight forwarding, that is connected to international transportation. Services of a freight forward and shipping agent, licensed under the licensed shipping agent. Freight forwarder. Services provided by a public corporation. Right? That is also exempt. Travel agent, a hotel, guest house, restaurant, or other similar business where the payment for such services is received in foreign currency. Through a bank and such agent, hotel, guest house, restaurant, or other similar businesses registered with the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority. Client support services provided to internet, that is services provided to outside person, to internet or telephones, foreign currency earning. So you can see both of these things connect to the earning foreign currency, right? International transportation, that type of things are also connected to the for collective foreign currency. You can see that provision of services and all those things to the exports, the generating foreign currency to Sri Lanka. That's why that exemption has been given. Life insurance, distribution, production, and supply of cinema, exhibitions, cinema, service by the United Nations Organization, UN organization, that's also exempt. Any service rendered in or outside Sri Lanka to any person or party to outside Sri Lanka. Utilization outside Sri Lanka, payment in foreign currency. Others are very anything which is not relevant to this one. I mentioned that. This is the tutorial, right? Exempted article and exempted services. So that part we can categorize into three.
Properly.
Services. It says import at the point of importation some are exempt. Manufacturing or some manufacturing thing also exempt. So it says just like say export of any article by the manufacturer. Right? So imports of raw material for manufacturing article for the export purpose. So then it's a manufacturer is importing article that is considered part of the export. Export also exempt. At the point of importation also it is exempt. So local buying and selling just like say pharmaceutical, say any product which is subject to a special commodity levy, that type of things are exempt even local buying and selling as well as import and local sales. So it's just like say services to exporter. That is if the character and the product is improving, yeah. Public passenger transport service. Likewise, there are exceptions. They are given.
Article subject to
And likewise, you can put the other thing. I mean, another exception. Many things. So, multi-specific thing, I mean, just like say, medical, pharmaceutical item, medical service, that type of thing. And that is the exception schedule. From that, you complete the balance part.
Yes, I did.
So, this notification has been issued by the Commissioner General of Environment at the, the initial stage of the introduction of the SSC to Sri Lanka, right? Is you can see that 21/9/2022. If the other things are not changed, I say Social Security contribution levy will be implemented with effect from 1st October 2022. I told you that 2022 it was introduced. 6 months from the year of assessment 22/23. Right? So at the rate of 2.5%, this liable turnover, this liable for this thing, they have summary registration, but you can see that threshold at that time it was 120 million. It has been now reduced by 100%. That means that 60 million per year. And initially it was 120 million. So what I put it in the tutorial is correct, right? And it says registration how to apply And the installment payment, when it shall be made, first installment, the due date of the first installment should be paid on or before 20th day of the second month of the same quarter. Likewise, they have given that. And these are practical the payment code, how to fill that payment slip. So these things. So liable turnover. Import of any article collected by the Director General of Customs. Customs may collect, so it's not collected by the Comptroller General. 100% of the import value. Manufacture of article 85% of the turnover. Supply of financial 100% of the value addition attributed to the financial services. The real estate it says 100% of the turnover services. So we'll see that what is this. Both this and reader, they are given that summation. So value addition attributed to financial services calculated by the supply of appliance. That means supply of financial services, value addition attributed to the financial services calculated by the applying the value attributed method displayed in the asset notification. So that is for the VAT computation of value addition. They have issued an asset notification how to work out the value addition. Same value addition we are using for the SSCL as well. Same value addition. Right? So in case of this is for the real estate, sale value minus market value of the bare land to the date of sale. Buying and selling, import and sale. It says who is a registered distributor. In relation to any manufacturer or producer of any goods in Sri Lanka means any person or partnership appointed by such manufacturer or producer for the sale in the wholesale market of such goods at such price as may be determined by the manufacturer or producer from time to time. It says who is a registered distributor. You know that distributor is liable for SSCL on total turnover. How much you are considering? 25%. Who is a registered distributor? It says appointed by the local manufacturer or producer to distribute his goods to local market. It says wholesale market. Retailer market, wholesale market. Sell current price is determined by manufacturer. So what is the difference between the distributing and the buying and selling? What is the difference? Distributing and buying and selling is a difference. Yes, very good. So in the buying and selling, we receive the ownership of the item. Therefore, we have the autonomy to decide our price. We can sell at any price. In case of the distributor, is saying it's handing over the goods to the distributor. Distributor, what he do? He does only distributing goods to the respective market. Right? He doesn't have autonomy to decide which market he is selling. At which price he is selling. No, nothing. Ownership of the good is not retained with the distributor. That's the difference. That's why I say, you can see. Any manufacturer or producer of any goods in Sri Lanka means any person or partnership appointed by such manufacturer. Manufacturer is appointed by such manufacturer or producer for the sale in the wholesale market of such goods at such price as may be determined by the manufacturer. Manufacturer is price determined. You can see, say, especially in the business manufacturing. Say, there's a price, market price. That has been determined by the manufacturer. The price is right? So he doesn't have the distributor doesn't have the ownership of the goods. If they are closing their agency, distribution agency, he has to hand over the inventory. right? The area that product should be distributed, that is also determined by the manufacturer. You are appointing for, say, Colombo South, that particular area only. That distributor cannot go and distribute the goods in, say, Andaguru or whatever, no, nothing. That's a separate or designated area. Within that area, he has to distribute. He says manufacturer or producer. What is the difference between manufacturer and producer? Manufacturer and producer? Other than manufacturer and producer. The producer basically, he does agricultural product. Producer, agricultural product. His involvement of the conversion of the good to some form is very little. Manufacturer entirely convert and do something different. Form is change. The producer is form is change. Basic form is that's the difference. Right? The example, the liquid milk. Milk producer. ඒක වෙනස් වෙනවා නම් යන්නේ ඒක මොනවා විදිහට හදන්න ඕන. Just like say curd or the yogurt manufacturer. Yogurt manufacturer is not a product. Not a product. It's what? Producer. Right? Right. As they say, due date of the submission of return. Quarterly. Quarter is the this starts the calendar month years. April to March. January to March, April to June, July, September, October, December. So quarters go. So calendar month they are determined. Right? But there is no impact to the income tax because income tax is for year of assessment to the 4 quarters, 2 quarters, always it's another year. That's all. Okay. But the tax return is on quarter basis. Right? So the formula what we have discussed in case of the importation, manufacturing sales, education, financial services. So credit and refund mechanism, no input credit. If there is SSCL charge on our importation, we cannot claim against our liability. Right? No input credit or refund mechanism is available. However, levy or penalty paid in excess of any amount which such person was liable to pay, relevant quarter shall be treated as an advance payment made for any quarter succeeding the relevant quarter. Right? No refund mechanism is there. If you have paid, so erroneously we paid, it shall be considered as an advance payment to next acceptable quarter. We are not getting refund. And also no credit for on our purchase. So sales eකට අපි work out කරන්නේ we have already paid something on our the importation or the purchase, we cannot claim. Right? Penalty. Failure to apply for a registration within the period, 25,000 penalty. Failure to furnish return, 50,000 penalty. Default payment, 10% of the amount of default for the late payment penalty. Thereafter, additional 2% penalty. Total penalty can be 100% of the tax in default. The first month we have not paid, so thereafter they are imposing penalties. And that's why the due date is important. Say 20th day we have to pay, but we pay it on 21st. 10% penalty immediately. Right? So for particular 1 month, 10%, thereafter another 2%. It's accumulated. Thereafter, it can be go up to 100% of the penalty based on the period of default. Cancellation we discussed. So from in this notification, some are not relevant for your examination purpose. Some are outdated, right? These things please ignore because it is as per the original act. But subsequently it was 30 minutes. Okay. But we'll have a break and we'll do some computation.